西门子数据中心管理平台。那这个平台呢，囊括了数据中心所需的全部的各种能力管控，那么集中用网页的一种管理系统。我们来看一下这一段简要介绍的视频，这是6年前拍摄的。
Teamcenter Clarity LC includes a browser-based application that
那
provides
这
much
是
of
用
its core
网页
functionality
格
in
式
a light,
来
intuitive,
管理
and
的
portable version
数据
to
中心管理
facilitate
的界面。
deployment, use, and accessibility. The web client is entirely web-based, HTML5, which makes it cross-browser and
用
cross-device
HTML
compatible,
的一个
including
格
tablets,
式
for maximum
对于
accessibility
整
and
个
ease
数
of
据中
use.
心进行运维。
It features an intuitive interface for 2D and 3D navigation.
2维、
Asset and
3维的
usage
导航，
information directly within the 3D model. Real-time temperature monitoring and heat map
实时的
visualization.
温度监控，
Network connections and cable
网络
management.
连接的管控，
Management of asset and equipment database.
有各种的
User
资产
access
的
management.
数据库，
Management of Data Center Clarity LC configuration, and centralized access to all Data Center Clarity
用
LC
网页
logs.
的集中访问管理，这是管理员的工作空间。资产的查询，看看某一台服务器在数据中心里面的位置。
Asset search within Data Center Clarity LC can be done directly from the 3D models. Go to the Asset
随时
Management
访问
toolbar where you'll find Asset
3维
search
的
and
模
can
型，
enter the asset ID, name, category, and type. You can filter by status
来
or
看这
serial
个
number,
服务
or
器
you
的
can even
IP 地
directly
址啊、
enter the host
类
ID
型
in the
啊、
search field.
所
In
处
the
的
search
位置，
results, when you click directly on the screen, you'll see the asset
完全
highlighted in
用
the model,
网
and
页
you can
格式
navigate it
的
very
2维
quickly.
跟3维。
Also from this screen, you can even edit any of the attributes of the specific asset for which you just searched, including changing the use spot if needed.
这段视频比较长，它是一个教学片，多维度的报告。
Data Center Clarity LC offers a rich 4D reporting toolkit with out-of-the-box reports that can be utilized for
4个维
planning
度的
and
报告，
operational purposes, and which are a key to operating a data center at its maximum efficiency. Let's look at an example. First, let's look at the use-space utilization report by activating it. With regards to rack utilization, directly on the 3D model, we can see a range of 0 to 60%
这
use of
随时
space.
可以点出来这个4个维度报告的
We can
某一
navigate
项
very
的报告内
effectively from
容
the。top view to an isometric view to see additional details. We can highlight, let's say, just the 0 to 60%
那么
utilization
用
rate,
这样的一
and
个
then
管理平
visually
台
isolate the space
来
that's
做数据
available
中
to
心
place
管控
additional
运维
assets.
的教学，那是一个非常好的选择。
Another key parameter to look at is the real-time power consumption of each of the servers. You can accomplish this by probing into each piece of IT equipment and individually
可以
displaying
把
its
几
power
种
consumption.
维度的这个报告做
Here
成一
you
种
see the
综合
scale
报
of
告。
0 to 200 watts. There are 277 objects
功耗
drawing greater than 1,000 watts.
动
Let's
态
look
的
at
功
another
耗报告。
example. We can visually separate the assets that are consuming the most power, see where they are located, and even make changes to the capacity of the equipment feeding these servers, or even optimize the servers themselves. We can aggregate any of this data at the rack level. The total power can be summed up automatically in real time to see how much power is being consumed by the entire rack for all of the
这是
equipment in
能
the
耗的报
aggregation.
告。
It's the same approach for asset weights. As you load the rack, the weight of each component is added and stored in Data Center Clarity LC. You can see here some of the racks that have over 600 kilograms. This may become valuable information for the data center operators when considering whether to move a rack or when being mindful of weight limitations. You can look at asset ID, temperature, status, category, age, date information, numbering information, real-time
所以
information,
各种
or
各样的
even
信息，
business or client
像
information,
编
which
号
can
啊、
be
类
overlaid
型
on
啊
the 3D model.
然后这个服务
Having
器
the
的
ability
这
to
个
layer
能
any
耗
of
啊
these rich data sets over
温度
three-dimensional
啊
images truly demonstrates the value of what we call 4D reporting.
所以这叫四维度报告。为新进入的服务器找一个合适的位置。
Increase in demand, consolidation projects, and simple day-to-day changes all call for the creation of new assets within a data center. With Data Center Clarity LC, these assets can be created directly inside the 3D model. Let's look at the power consumed by each of the racks. For this, we want to isolate the group of racks where the least amount of power is consumed. As we can see, there are quite a few racks here we can pick from. We can zoom in. Let's pick this rack. Directly from the interface, we can go to
找一
Asset
个
Management
合适
and
的机
select
架。
Create Asset. As we get the Create Asset dialog box, we can select specific properties to customize the characteristics of the new asset. In this example, we can pick any Fujitsu server model. Let's say an RX 300 in this case.
找一下
As
服
you
务
can
器
see
的
here,
型号，
we
这
have
些都
many
是数据
vendors
库里
and
面
many
的。
different models that we support. We can look at host ID. We can
那
look at
IP
various
地址
components. Then we can select this rack where we've identified that we have a very
到底是
small
哪个
amount
机
of
柜，
power being consumed at this
哪一
rack
个机
level.
架？
Let's say we want to put it at U spot 37. We can click OK, and the asset will be created and placed in the U37 spot.
好，那这时候他就把它摆
You
上
can
去了。
immediately see the asset being added inside Data Center Clarity.
"查找服务器，这也是非常重要的功能。
We can automatically discover resources in the Asset Management window within Data Center Clarity LC. We can do so through an IP address range, a subnet, subnet
用
with
这
prefix,
个
single device, or the
IP 地
entire
址。
database.
那么，这个我
In
很
this
惊讶的
case,
发
let's
现，
use
这个
an
管理平
IP
台居然
range.
是基于
We
Teamcenter。
previously entered an IP range to query. The scan function will ping or scan the IP of the many devices of the various networks that are available. In this case, we have two assets that have normal responses. Indeed, the ping response from the network is valid. The host name's information is provided, and the status of these two assets is operational.
那么，它根据这个 IP 地址的范围
We also
查
have
出
three
来
unknown assets,
服务器
meaning that physically these devices exist and are responding to the network ping, but are not in fact in the Data Center Clarity database. In this case, we can add these three assets into the database in their proper locations. To do so, the first step is typically to export these assets, then set in place the suitable workflow to track the progress and
经过
completion
查
of the
询了，
task of
就可以
adding
把
these
它的位
assets in
置
Data
找出
Center
来，然后
Clarity
输出
LC.
一个报告。服务器迁移，这段教学视频讲的真的是非常细。
We can perform an
那这
asset
是
move
三维可视
directly
化。
from the interface.
如果它的后台是 Teamcenter 的话呢，那现
We
在用
simply
的这
zoom
个
in on an
三维
area
可视
of
化
the
就是
data
阶梯
center
格式
where we
的
want to make a change.
可视化，
We
就是
select the
Visualization
asset.
Teamcenter
Then
Visualization。
for rack selection, we can change the rack location.
那做一个
Here
服务
we'll
器的
go and
搬迁，
associate to
先找
U38
机
of that
柜，
rack.
然后再来
Upon
找
completing the changes,
它
we
的
can now change its status to
机架
operational
第几
because
号
we have enabled that asset in its new location. As you will
那就
see
可以
here,
迁
it
移
will
过去。
disappear from the original rack in 3D and moved in 3
好，
dimensions to the
那就
second
摆
rack
到
that
了
we've
这个新
selected.
的位置。
As you can see, moving assets within Datacenter Clarity LC is simple and straightforward.
电气连接，
Within the 3D environment of Datacenter Clarity LC,
那在这
we
个
can
三
search
维
for
的环境
electrical
里面呢，
connections.
我们要看这个电气接线
View and
是
trace
如
the
何连接。
upstream and downstream connections on the floor. Simply by clicking on the 3D asset, in this case the floor-mounted PDU, we can visually distinguish what are the upstream and downstream devices that are connected to these floor-mounted PDUs.
那它都是一组一组
We
的
also，can
按
view the
照
various
用途去
upstream
划分
assets
的
in，table format.
或者是按照这个客户的
As a result, we can
类
determine
型去做的
precisely
一些
what is
分类。
feeding an electrical component. And can also see the entire list of IT devices that are being supplied by this electrical component. For troubleshooting purposes, this is extremely valuable information. Understanding the upstream and downstream electrical links that exist between the physical
这个
assets
界面呢，
is
因为它
imperative
全
to
都
the
是三
operational
维，并且是
performance
集
of the
成在
data center.
Teamcenter 里面。那这个界面呢，应该是用 NX 做的全屏模式。那这样的话就不难理解它的这些三维的构建、三维的这些单元。那么这时候再看电气原理图，那应该用的是
Data
NX
center
的
operators will
harness，
find value in
就
the
是
ability
接
to
线。
visually grasp the
根据这个
upstream
接
and
线表
downstream electrical interconnections and to have the real-time data juxtaposed on that same 2D drawing.
那这是它的这个
Datacenter Clarity LC
拓扑
2D
图。
diagram allows for quicker
那
and
根据
better
这个拓扑
analysis
图
of
呢
the overall
来确
operational
定
environment.
走线。
Different 2D diagrams are created directly from the 3D model of Datacenter Clarity LC.
甚至可以计算出来它的这
For
个
example, as you can
悬
see
垂
here, a person can load a previous view of that with which he or she prefers to work.
因为这个线不可
Let's
能
say
绷得
someone
非常
wishes to
紧，
analyze a
而且还要在
UPS,
槽
which has shown
在线
symptoms
槽里
of
面走，
degrading operating
所以把这
conditions.
个
To
接线
achieve
表
this, you can do useful data mining
拿到
by
一些
viewing
信
the
息之后
real-time
呢，
and historical
就要
data
到这
trends.
个三维软件里去确定
For example,
它的
latest
这个
power
接
values,
线。
latest current values, and what-if scenarios. For this, one can simulate an increase in power demand in order to see the impact on the behavior of the UPS, the various thresholds it will attain in that condition, and whether the UPS will stay green or
连到
yellow
UPS
or
的
move
哪一
to
个
red for an
那个
alarm
端
stage.
口，
The
是
alarms are
电
in
源
real-time,
还
and
是
the
网
data
络
center operators are informed if assets are either in warning mode or error mode. Here, UPS 2 and UPS 1 are both under
到
a
底是
warning
第几号
indication.
UPS， 然后怎么
As
连的？
Datacenter Clarity LC constantly monitors the operating conditions of these two UPSs, it can detect that suddenly UPS 1 goes into alarm. Data center personnel are visually alerted of this by the associated line in the 2D diagram also changing to red. From there, one can go into the Info tab and view key data parameters for UPS 1, such as maximum current and the derated current.
用
Let's
不同
explore
颜色
further
来
how
标
this
识
2D
它的这种
diagram can be
线。
used. Let's say a person selects crack under number 3. He or she can further investigate by looking at the real-time information of that device via a dashboard fabricated specifically for crack units. Data center personnel can drill down to pull information on what happened over the course of the last 2 hours of operation of this crack unit. They can look at supply and return, temperature and humidity controls, and other sensors that may be connected.
所以它把这个
The
功
global
耗
status
啊，
button
然后
is
再把这
green
个
and normal.
线路的
Further down the screen,
那
the
个
data center
长
personnel
短
can
呢
see the reading of the fan rate cooling, the state of
有
fluid
一些
cooling,
网
heating
线
conditions,
或者
and
是
the
电源线，
humidifying
它有这
capacity.
个
Operations
限制
personnel have a wide range of data sets to monitor, both in real time and on an historical basis. They can go back a month, a quarter, or a year by selecting the
所以可以
appropriate
选
tab
择
on the
按
screen.
照天、月的一些监控。高阶的报表，
Company executives need actionable, high-level, overarching information to profitably
那
run
么
their
这时候要通过
organizations.
Teamcenter 的
The
报表
information
功能
needs to be
对于
aggregated,
这个数据
complete,
中心
and
进行
trustworthy.
一些
Data
高阶的
Center
报告。
Clarity LC delivers that value, and it can scale from one single data center to dozens of them being monitored from one central location if desired. Data Center Clarity LC offers an executive-level web-based dashboard with information that really
这
matters to
是网
executives.
页格式的
In
报
this
表，
case, you have navigational maps with
这
two
也是
zones,
Teamcenter
the
的基本
Americas
功
and
能，
Europe.
做了一些定制。
Capacity planning information. In the lower right corner, you can see key performance
雷达
indicators for
图
the、various
饼
sites.
图、气
Just
泡
to the
图
left,，you can view the number and type of assets that are being managed. Let's go back to the
并且
radar
可以
graph
把
showing
各
information
个
for
数据
the
中心
Americas
的
and
信
Europe.
息
We can see the
做一
capacity
个
parameters
随时的赚
overlaid
取。
for both zones. The scale goes from 0 to 100% capacity. In this case, 80% capacity is used by the Americas versus about 36% capacity in Europe. This visual allows you
那
to
比
quickly
方说，在
determine
欧
where
洲
you
有
have
数据
space
中
for
心，或者在
power,
美
use
洲有数
space,
据中心，
floor
做一些
space,
对比、
cooling,
比
and
较，
IT
这样的
devices.
话均匀化。
You can drill down
不
further
至于
into
说在
power
某一个数据
capacity
中心
and
这
view
个
the capacity
服务器
used,
部署
the
的
maximum
数
available
量过大。
capacity, and the number of days left before you run out of power. The same is true for U space. You can see the U space used,
这些全都
the
是
number
动态
of
的
U
报
space
表。
currently in use, the total capacity you have, the number of days left, and more for floor space capacity, cooling, IT, or even water. In the case when relative parameters are not monitored, you simply get a not monitored view. In order to see the data unique to a single site, you can navigate and drill down further through each specific country and its specific sites. Here, if we see a PUE of
可以
1.5,
随时
you
赚
might
取。
want to understand the PUE of that specific site. Using this Data Center Clarity LC dashboard feature, you are able to view real-time information for that specific component. If you're interested in seeing the total power usage, you can view data by a weekly, monthly, quarterly, or even an annual basis. Directly from the Asset Management menu, you have access to a web-based dashboard for smarter, top-level decision-making.
每一台服务
For
器
each
的
specific
实时
device
信
level
息，
asset, Data Center Clarity LC offers trending and real-time information dashboards. Let's begin with the HVAC dashboard. If we look at a crack unit, we have a web-based link that will provide all the information for the unit or system. In this case, we can look at the fans and see the percentage of on and off times for these fans. You can see right now that it's at 68.38%. You can look at the cooling information. You can look at dehumidifying information. You can also see the various
看它
temperatures,
冷却风
temperature
扇的这个
gauges,
效
or
能，
humidity levels for the asset,
还有它这
on the
个
supply and return of your
这个
crack
机
unit.
柜里
These
面
are
每
very
一台
simple
服务
yet
器的温
powerful
升，
real-time dashboards. You can drill down from 1 hour to 6 hours, 12 hours a day, a week, a month, a
所以
quarter,
它
or
有
even a
这个
year.
按季度、
You
按
can see
月度
various components and always go back, and you
来
can
看
drill
各种
down
的
and
信
look at
息。
very specific data of interest at any point in time. This dashboard was for the crack unit. You can do the same if you look at the power meter. You can view the three-phase power information for your data center.
看看能耗，
In this case, we look at the three-phase information for that specific power meter.
实
You
时
can look
看
at
一
the
些能
currents,
耗。
the voltage, and all of the electrical information. You also have the power data and the phase information all in real time, as well as energy data, active energy, and reactive energy.
所以一开始讲了这个，对于数据中心来讲，能耗指标是
Power
非常
quality
重
is
要
very
的。
important in most data centers to make sure the quality of the power is consistent and so on.
那
Here is
看一
the
些
same
这
type
个
of dashboard, but different
供电
types
的
of
这
data
种
being displayed.
供电的质量啊，你这
We
个
can have the same type
UPS
of
要不间断
dashboard as well for the IT equipment.
甚至有一些备用的发电机组。对于空调来讲呢，可能会有一些冷气包，在能源充足的时候呢，把这个或者运转效率相对低的时候，这个散热降温没有那么高需求的时候，把冷气储存起来。
Perhaps to see how the temperature has been steadily increasing for that IT component.
所以这个赚取的颗粒度会做得非常的细。
These are only 3 of a multitude of real-time information dashboards supplied within Datacenter Clarity LC. Integrating with over 400 different communication protocols that you can leverage datasets from essentially all of the devices and systems in your data center.
所以这个已经到了机柜的级别了。
servers and much more are pooled into one common database.
都是通过这种数据库在管理。这是本次课程可能是最精彩的部分，就是热的分析，用流体
Directly within
散
the
热。
data center asset management, you are able to load CFD model results.
那这个是看到的是可视化里面看 CAE 的结果，那么我们可能会用 Star-CCM+ 来做
In this case, we can see a cross-section
冷
of the
却
air
的这个
temperature,
流体分析，
whether it's here in this 2D perspective
发热。
or at waist level through the entire data center.
所以对于我们这个整个的
The same is valid for a specific
空调的利用
criteria
率
area where we've isolated
有
a
一些
hotspot.
局部的服务器区间没有那么高的温升，
The hotspot is
那么我们
behind
就要
this
把
rack.
一些
We can
比较
easily
热
slide
的
through,
做一
rotate,
些处理。
pan,
所以
and
现在
zoom
用的是
to isolate the area in
Life
which we
Cycle
need to
View 啊，
focus.
那实际上就是 Teamcenter
Then
Visualization。
we can make the appropriate server changes at a convenient
那
predetermined time.
这一套
before
数据
failure
中心管
occurs.
理呢，它从三维的设计就
This
NX，
illustrates how
再到
downtime can
管理
be
平台
avoided and how
Teamcenter，
energy costs
以
can
及
be
用了
tackled with the
Simcenter
DCIM solution from
和
Siemens.
Simcenter 的一些数据的分析，所以这个教程做得非常好。